Taking titles during the European components of DreamHack Masters Spring and CS Summit 6, Big are in fantastic form, and part of that success must be attributed to the distinctive playstyle of the team's AWPer in syrsoN, whose dynamic and aggressive play makes the German squad such a difficult beast to contain. Watching on board with syrsoN, let's see what makes him unique as a player. So opening up this round versus Vitality, first up syrsoN flashes mid and takes on this angle and spots the leg of Shocks before doing some damage through the wall. Next up syrsoN accelerates down mid and peeks the left side of this mid smoke. Now it should go without saying that this is a very aggressive move from the German player. And at this point in the round, syrsoN can hear Shocks running through Moto and towards the art side. And with this information, he's going to peek out long and find the pick. Now behind this kill on Shocks, syrsoN gets even more aggressive, knowing two players are already dead on B and that he just killed an art side player on A. There was unlikely to be too much resistance as he wraps through this CT spawn area. And slowly working his way in through the angles, syrsoN will find the kill onto Misuta, killing the remaining player on the B bomb site and sealing the round for the German squad. Moving on to Overpass, we're going to see a great display of syrsoN going from an aggressive opening into some proactive rotational play. So early on, the German is going for this aggressive connector pick and finds a great frag on to Misuta. As syrsoN is falling back, let's look at the positioning of his teammates. So Big has 3 players on A with tabseN towards long toilets and Keto up here on the flowers boost. Over on B, Tizian is playing outside of ABC and will be taking first contacts onto short, and Xantares is towards the wood area holding Monster. Now at this moment in time, all 4 of the remaining Vitality players are outside of Monster and are in the process of triple nading the sandbags jump spot, which will give syrsoN loads of information to inform his rotate, and as we can see, he's running back towards B. Meanwhile, Xantares is going to find a great frag onto short, and syrsoN here will throw this smoke for Monster to give his B players a little bit more help. Now as he comes onto the site, syrsoN scopes on short and will walk his way all the way onto the bomb site before posting to the right side of the pillar. Now I think most players would have sat back and played a more passive angle onto short since Big has a sizable man advantage. But syrsoN loves pushing up into these semi-aggressive angles and he trusts his individual ability to hit the shots before he gets swarmed by the terrorist players. And watching syrsoN play on multiple maps, as we'll see later in this video, he loves playing this sort of semi-aggressive position. Now at this point in the round, Vitality, they need to take some sort of risk because they're in a 3 versus 5. And the call they go for is to throw a fake onto the B site with a heaven smoke and a bridge smoke, which is going to leave Keto solo on the A site because tabseN is going to rotate off. Jumping onto Keto, he's playing around this sign position, and we're going to see him play this spot to perfection. So as he's watching long here, he can hear ZywOo running to his left, so he peeks out and kills ZywOo, checks long before hearing Shocks and killing him, and finally RPK gets spotted as Keto gets his 3rd kill in quick succession to close out the round in epic style. Coming into this round, we're going to see some patient play from syrsoN into dealing with pressure from multiple directions. So early on, syrsoN is going for this aggressive palace peek, as I'm sure you've seen before. Now on this occasion, Big are actually playing 2 AWPs aggressively on A, with Keto posted here on ramp. So you might be thinking, is this a communication mistake? Don't you want to have your AWPs spread out across the map? And to understand why a setup like Big's here might work, you need to be thinking from the terrorist perspective. So let's say Keto is spotted towards ramp. The T's will be calling there's an AWP A ramp, so anyone in Palace might think they have an opportunity to push up and take some fights because an AWP is not holding them before walking straight into syrsoN. Now Big's opponents in OG are working their way out towards mid through under, and Big have 4 players towards A with a solo player on B in Tizian. Now Keto has decided to move back to the ticket area, which is probably the strongest position to be AWPing from during the late round, and finds a nice pick on to Mansu. And just after, Tabson impressively will trade his life here with Issa. So this round is going to end with a connector split, and let's see how syrsoN reacts. As no players have shown themselves towards Palace for the entire round, he backs himself in and starts holding towards jungle. Now next up, Xantares goes down in window, and the split will start to come in. syrsoN gets 1 frag onto Valde, and then will swing into this molly and kills MBK before burning to death. Now whether or not swinging into a molly like that was a great idea, and probably not considering it was a man advantage for Big, it's rounds like these that showcase so many dimensions of syrsoN's play. When we're thinking back to old school aggressive AWP peaks on Mirage, thinking back to 2014, 15 and 16 JW, Fallen or Kenny, aggressively peaking Underpass should come to mind, and that's what we can see here from syrsoN, and he'll find the opening pick here onto Valde. Now pausing quickly, what is OG up to on this round? So OG has 3 players out mid with these smokes down in window and short, and with Valde going down, OG know there is at least 1 player in Underpass. So what Big decide to do is they're going to fight the OG players on a flash from window, and Xantares and syrsoN swing out. Xantares finds 1 kill, but will be traded by NBK. Now syrsoN decides not to press the issue too much, whilst his teammates kill NBK from connector, and he peeks the right side of the top box. Tabson smokes bottom con, and syrsoN uses his opportunity to fall into connector and posts here on the left side of the boxes, and catches Mansu as he works his way back across. Now during this round, we can clearly see that syrsoN's default setting is to play aggressive with that early Underpass pick into the very fast decision to fight mid as 2 on a flash once they knew OG were out there in numbers. But equally new to stay alive once Xantares had been traded and waited for his teammates to make the next move. Jumping onto Dust 2, syrsoN had a nice spawn for B, and Big are going to make use of that spawn by going for an explosive play onto the B site. So syrsoN here is flicking between the top of Big Box and the right side of the tunnel. And as his teammates commit onto the site, I want you to notice how syrsoN is sat back. He isn't looking to be one of the entries, he is here for the trades and to catch the CT swinging out. After all the trades come in and syrsoN finds this kill onto Issa, we find ourselves in this 2v2 afterplant. And let's see how syrsoN chooses to approach this. So as the bomb goes down, the German is trying to cover his teammate, and the CTs decide to play slowly. After re-smoking doors, syrsoN isn't going to sit back and play a passive angle. He's going to walk back into tunnels, and despite making noise scoping up, he'll find the kill onto Valde. And finally, with Xantares calling that a player is towards mid, syrsoN posts on window and gets this final kill onto Mansu. So just like the round we saw on Mirage, again syrsoN is showing that he knows when it's best to be more passive as his teammates explode out onto the site. But once the bomb goes down and it falls more so onto the individuals, the gloves come off for the German player and he takes the round into his own hands. This final round we're going to break down is going to be a great showcase of how syrsoN likes to reaggress areas on the map. In general, he's not a player that likes to be static, and he loves to be in the thick of it and get his team loads of information in the process. After a bit of a failed smoke, syrsoN helps out Tizian towards long, and after a few seconds, he decides nobody is coming and rotates back into holding short. Instead of sitting back towards car or ramp, syrsoN will walk into this more aggressive off angle. Now I'm guessing syrsoN wanted to swing into the regular elbow angle after the T's flashed in, but unfortunately OG contacted into short and syrsoN misses the first shot onto MBK, but will bail himself out with this great kill onto MBK as the OG player tried to chase down syrsoN in the open. After resetting a little bit, once again syrsoN is going to walk back into an aggressive angle up here on elbow and will get his team so much information in the process. Now the call from OG is going to be to split onto the A site with 3 long and 1 short. As OG come out long, they will trade 1 for 1 on to Tizian, and syrsoN will find this kill onto Alexi B here on short. Now I can assure you that the Finnish IGL was not expecting syrsoN to be in a position like this once again. Now given that syrsoN saw no other players towards short, and with some info from Tizian, he diverts all his attention onto long and decides to drop 2 birds with 1 stone as he finishes off the remaining OG players. In Counter-Strike, there's a thin line between genius and insanity, and today we've seen how syrsoN walks that fine line between being aggressive into getting picks and information and being overly aggressive into giving up needless kills to the opposing team. Striking a good balance is a challenge for players at all levels, but I hope from watching syrsoN you've seen some new aggressive options and how implementing some of his playstyle into your own game could help you become a more complete player. Anyways, if you enjoyed that one, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next video on why Cloud9 are so much fun to watch. Other social medias are linked below. Thanks for watching and I'll catch you guys in the next one.